Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of In the Studio. Today we're going to be taking a look at a user comment that came in on a previous video asking if I could recommend a good ride cymbal to be used in a fingerstyle hybrid percussion setup. But before we get to that, if you're new to the channel, please reach down and subscribe. Make sure the notifications are turned on, and if you're so inspired, give the video a like and share it on your own network. That's the best way to help me out as I'm trying to grow this channel, to reach as many people as possible to help share some knowledge about drums and percussion all over the world. So without any further ado, let's dive into today's topic. So before we get started on this topic today, I want to offer something of a disclaimer, and that's to say that I currently do not have a cymbal endorsement. I do not work with any company, any particular manufacturer, or any store where I'm trying to push one particular brand or a model of cymbal onto you. I don't get any financial benefit if you guys go and buy a cymbal from one company over another. What I intend to do with this video is to show you guys what works for me, and I hope to answer this particular user's question that showed up on a video a couple of days ago. So, like you, I do not have an unlimited budget to go out and buy cymbals. Usually I buy one cymbal at a time, okay? So what I intend to do here is to sort of show you some of the pieces that I've collected over the years that really function nicely for the fingerstyle drum set that you've seen me do on previous videos. So, on to our question, or our comment, I should say. This came from a previous video. Stefan from Austria asks if I could recommend a particular ride cymbal that is still being manufactured that could be used in a fingerstyle setup, such as we like to talk about here on this channel. I'm not going to give you a recommendation of a particular brand or a particular model, but I will show you some of the things that I use and why. And then I'm going to show you a couple of things that I specifically try to avoid. So here we go. On my left, I have this particular cymbal. This comes from Meinl. All right, this is their Byzance series. This is a very high-end cymbal that Meinl makes. This is a 21-inch medium crash, okay? I had this cymbal riveted soon after I brought it home. I took a listen to it amongst some of my instruments and realized that this would make a really beautiful rivet cymbal, okay? On my right, I have an instrument. This is from Bosphorus, okay? And similarly, I had this cymbal riveted as well. This is a 21-inch ride cymbal, and this is from Bosphorus Hammer series, all right, which is another one of their higher-end cymbal series. And for a ride cymbal, this is quite thin, so there's a lot of very interesting fundamental action. When you get a stick on there and start playing, the cymbal starts to cook, and you get a lot of good articulation, but you also start to get the sustain that normally doesn't come from a ride cymbal. Ride cymbals tend to be very thick, and for the fingerstyle setup that you guys see me do here, it doesn't really work well because you lose the high-end frequencies and it immediately drops towards a fundamental resonance of the cymbal, and I'll show you that in just a second. But just to give you an idea, on my left, this is a crash cymbal, and on my right, this is a ride cymbal. But they're both riveted, okay? Meaning I had holes drilled in and I had these rivets installed. What does that sound like? For such a light attack, that's a mezzo piano attack, maybe even lighter. That's got very nice sustain on that. And on my right, trying the Bosphorus, similar style attack, mezzo piano. So in my setup, this is exactly the quality that I'm looking for. I like long sustain. The rivets help create this sizzling foundation because I'm not playing heavy crashes or heavy splashes, nor am I doing accented articulations up on the bell of the cymbal, which a ride cymbal would be perfect to accomplish that. But I'm not doing that on my kit. I'm only using my fingers, and I'm basically keeping it at a pretty low volume threshold. Maybe mezzo forte plus somewhere, but rarely am I getting any louder than that. Instead, I'm using a very tender finger technique. It's just a touch. And what I want from this is for the sustain to continue while I move back to the drums and continue the groove. Okay? This is what works best for me. Okay? In terms of hi-hats, let me show you a couple of things here. This is a really wonderful piece to show you. This is a pair of Zildjian A's from the 1960s, 14-inch. These actually belong to my grandfather, and I inherited these. He was a drummer. Many members of my family are drummers, so I did inherit these particular instruments. We would call this a paper-thin cymbal, all right? For the dynamic that I am working at on this hand or world percussion style, right? This world hybrid kit that I work on, this paper-thin cymbal is perfect. Okay, it provides just enough clear articulation to cut up above the texture without becoming overbearing. Now, in contrast to that, I have a couple of different hi-hat sets. This is a pair of 14-inch Zildjian quick beats. These are from the 90s. This is a fabulous, fabulous pair of cymbals. This is the cool where the bottom plate has the extra holes and it's almost completely flat, whereas the top plate has the bell on it. And it's meant to encourage really fast left foot articulations off of the hi-hat pedal. This is a fabulous set of hi-hats, but way, way too heavy for the dynamic quality that I'm trying to achieve with this particular kit. So these do not come out of the bag for this kit. I want to show you one other pair of hats. This is a pair of hats from Schlagwerk. Now, I do have an endorsement with Schlagwerk Percussion. They build cajones. They build the cajon shaker brush, which we have talked about quite a bit on this particular channel. Okay, so, but this pair of hats I bought, this is a 12-inch pair of hats. So it's smaller. It's got that thinner gauge, similar to the Zildjian A's that I just showed you a moment ago. And that's gonna make more of a transparent, higher frequency, lighter type of hi-hat chick. And for this particular setup, it works really, really well. So I do like this pair of hats. I sort of move back and forth between these and the 14-inch Zildjian A's, okay? So in terms of hats, that's what I use. There are some specialty cymbals that I pull out from time and again. Certainly a splash cymbal can go a long way if you want those type of sharp articulations. What would a splash cymbal sound like here with our finger? So the whole key with cymbals is you need to play them at the proper dynamic level to let the cymbal open and spread and show the proper bloom of the instrument. And with the small, fast attack like this, you have to play with something of a high velocity staccato stroke. There, you can hear it open, whoosh, and you get that high, fast, open bloom. That's what a splash cymbal is intended to do. I generally don't put this cymbal up, but every once in a while, it's exactly the right solution for the music that I'm playing. Here's another heirloom piece. This also was my grandfather's. This is something of just an ice bell. And that has a very particular quality to it, an interesting overtone spectrum, low fundamental, okay? The fundamental is a little bit pronounced for my tastes, okay? That's one thing that I try to avoid. Whenever I'm selecting a cymbal, I don't want an overly pronounced fundamental pitch that emerges from the cymbal because it doesn't read well either on a microphone or really in a live situation, unless you're playing music that sort of matches whatever tonal quality that that cymbal is giving out. So you kind of have to pay attention a little bit to what music is being played. Other cymbals that I have that sometimes work, sometimes don't. This is a Sabian hand-hammered series medium thin crash. This, to me, has its best application in orchestral, classical, and contemporary classical musics. The character of this particular instrument, it has more of a pronounced fundamental on it that doesn't really work for me in drum set playing, okay? But in an orchestral setting, this has the perfect character for suspended cymbal rolls and articulations, etc. So doing a roll with a pair of mallets on this, now that's a very low volume roll. I don't really want to open up and rip a big loud roll to show you that side of the cymbal in here today. But you can get the idea that there is more of a fundamental quality on the cymbal, right? Ignoring the rattle of my cymbal stand. But Stefan, to your question specifically, you're asking about ride cymbals. And I feel drawn to show you something very interesting here, okay? This is another Meinl Byzance ride cymbal. This is also a 21-inch medium ride. So I showed you the medium crash from Meinl. This is now a medium ride. One little feature that I'm sure you're noticing is this little bite that's been taken out of the cymbal over here. So this is a repair job that I had done on this cymbal. This one, it was down at Hollywood Pro Drum Shop. They repaired this for me, although I do a lot of my own cymbal repair when I have a bench grinder. Currently, my bench grinder I don't have right now. So, but when I do have that, I can repair my own cymbals. And we can maybe talk about that in another video. But specifically to repair the type of crack that would come vertically through the grooves of the cymbal. That's what this sort of repair looks like. It's a very effective repair. It changes the original quality of the cymbal, but it's still playable and it still resonates and still has great overtone action. So don't throw your cymbals out if they break. They can often be salvaged. But Stefan, to your question, this is Meinl's Byzance ride cymbal. Playing this with my finger. This almost has a tam-tam type quality to me. And just to clarify the difference between a gong and a tam-tam, a gong is a pitched instrument. A tam-tam is unpitched. Cymbals are intended to be unpitched. However, sometimes that fundamental pitch is very pronounced in a cymbal and you have to be careful. Now, at this dynamic level, I do get a very interesting overtone shimmer, but as you can hear, it's a very thick plate that I'm trying to activate, and it doesn't blend well with my other instruments. I would, in context, if you were to hear this in the drum setup, what you would hear is the attack, and then very quickly, the low fundamental would start to blend away inside the drums, and the whole resonance and sustain of the cymbal would vanish, and that's not my intent. In contrast, this higher frequency shimmer, along with the rivets that help give this even higher frequency, sort of dancing frequency up on top of everything, that really blends very nicely in my setup. So we're going to wrap up here. Stefan, what I'm hoping to share and impress upon you right now is that it may not be a ride cymbal that you're looking for. Potentially, as in the case with this Meinl Byzance 21-inch medium crash cymbal, it may be the crash that, when riveted, gives you the type of action that you're looking for. Okay? My last piece of advice that I'll give to you and to everybody who's encountering this sort of issue, what cymbal should I buy? Go down to your local drum shop, take one drum or two drums with you, and ask if you can play a couple of their cymbals and listen to them. Another thing that you can do is you can take down one cymbal that you own that you know already works for you and you really like, and then go find a companion piece for that. And that can often be very, very effective. Take the cymbal that you have that works great and play it next to a bunch of other ones and test them so that your ear, you know that you like this one, compare that sound to the other ones that are there in the shop, and then make your choice from there. So, Stefan, thank you so much for such a great comment. I hope that this sort of sheds some light on your decision-making process. To my knowledge, both the Meinl cymbals, the Bosphorus cymbals are still under manufacture, and you can get those cymbals today. Of course, all the Zildjian cymbals that you could want are probably available at your local drum shop, as well as a number of handmade items that you can find from boutique companies all over the world. Every cymbal is different. They're all wonderful, and they all make different types of music with their own unique voices. So I hope this helps. I hope you enjoyed the content. And as always, guys, happy drumming.
If you liked this video and want to see more like it, please hit the subscribe button. Visit my website for more information on tours, upcoming performances, and updates on all my projects. Thanks so much, and don't forget to share this video.